Welcome to Van's Woodshop. Today I'll be showing you how I take a bunch of wood and I turn it into American flag coin holders. So these flags end up being 37.5 inches wide by 20 inches tall. I'm able to, at my local hardware store, buy these butcher block boards that are made out of beechwood. I prefer working with these because one, they come in different sizes that I can actually pick and work with, makes it a lot easier. It's a lot less cutting for me. And two, with the beechwood, it's a more solid wood than using pine. I don't like using pine really for making much of anything. So I start off with the back side of them. I'm just getting a black coat of base paint over the back of it. It's no particular brand type of paint. Just pick a black and coat the back of it. So once the back's dry, I just flip them over and I start taping off the front to paint the union, and then the rest of it I'll just give a good coat of red. These unions end up being 15 inches wide and 10.5 inches tall. Literally, I just tape it off with some paper towels, and then for the unions, I use a nice royal blue. And for the rest of the flag, I'm going to paint the whole thing red. Again, you pick whatever brand paint is your choice. And me, since I use a CNC to carve out the stripes and the stars, they'll end up being the natural wood color. So I just go ahead and coat the whole thing red and blue on the front of them. I always make these coin holders in batches just because it's easier for me to do multiple ones at a time. And another thing, I always like to take my tape lines off while the paint's still wet. I've found that it gives me much cleaner lines. Now that we've let the paint dry, I'm just taking it over to my CNC and I'm going to set it all up, and I'm going to carve in those stars in the union, and I'll actually carve out the stripes on the flag also. Alright, so you'll see in the background over there, as I've got one carving out, another one over there, I'm just doing a little bit of finishing work on it. Just doing a little bit of sanding, because even after it's carved, there's always little edges through there that I just want to go through and clean up a little bit. And then after I'm done with that, you'll see I've got a blowtorch that I like to give a nice light burn to all my flags also. It just makes it have a little better finish than just leaving it all natural. For the strips that the coins actually sit on, you'll see me cutting back there. I'm able to, if you go look in the trim section of your local hardware store, I find this is the only thing I actually use pine for. The reason for that is it just makes the flags a little bit lighter, because using the beechwood, they're already going to end up about 30 pounds by the time I'm done. But this is 1/4 inch thick, 1 inch wide pine strips that I just measure down the length of the flag, and I cut those. And then for the additional strip that runs in front of the coin, if you look in the trim section, I'm able to find these nice little, it's about a 1/2 inch tall, about an 1/8 of an inch thick trim pieces that I use, that I just cut down to size also. Once I have everything cut out my garage, I'm actually taking it inside to my basement because it's still cold where I live and I don't want to do the glue ups outside. The glue won't set right. So what you're seeing here is I'm just wiping down the board, cleaning it off a little bit, and I'm getting my 9,000 clamps ready to start clamping everything on for the glue ups. I'm just using a regular wood glue. Right there, I've got the 1/2 inch pine strips that I'm going to use. That's what the coins actually sit on. And then you'll see also, once I get those glued on and let those dry, I do this in 2 stages. I do the 1/2 inch pine strips first, and then I let those dry for a few hours, and once they're dry enough, I'll pop all my clamps off, and then I'll do that additional trim piece I put in the front of it. The trim piece in the front that I was talking about earlier is beechwood also. That way when you're looking at the front of the flag, all the colors of the flag line up with that natural beechwood. Gives it a really, really professional looking finish, and you'll see here at the end result of this. So I'll give those overnight to finish drying before I'll start messing with it again, and then I'll drag it back out to my garage again. And here I'm just going over it and I'm sanding off if there were any drips of glue or just any finishing work on any part of it now. I like doing this part by hand just to make sure it has a really smooth finish. Um, and once I get any extra glue off of it or anything like that I'm going over, next is when my most favorite part. You just grab that blowtorch and you go to town on it for a little bit. It actually takes a little bit of practice. You don't want to overburn it because then you're just going to ruin a nice flag that you just spent a whole bunch of time working on. But you want to just get enough of a burn that if you don't do the burn on them, to me, it just looks really, really plain. So I just go over it real quick, light burn, and after everything's got that nice burn on it, I will go over and I'll do a final coat of varnish on the entire flag just to completely seal it up, and then we call it good to go. And here's final results. If you like what you see, please do me a favor, hit that subscribe button down there, and I'll keep posting what I'm making. If there's anything in particular you'd like to know more in depth on how I do it, let me know. Bye.